All right. So welcome everybody to Thrivecast, unlocking your full potential. I'm Oscar. I'm an emotional fitness coach, and I help people embody their higher self so they can live their true life purpose. And with me today, I have Katarina Hanssens Carlsson. Katarina, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Thank you, Oscar. So I'm a global entrepreneurial consultant and trainer, and I'm an expert on vision. I've been an expert for the last 20 years. One of my email addresses is Katarina Vision. That's what people call me. And today we are going to talk about new year, new vision. This is not about your New Year's resolutions, which you can break after like a few weeks. It's about new year, new vision. What do you truly desire for yourself in 5 years, 3 years, 1 year? Okay, so my first question is, what is a life without vision? Well, you've all heard the saying, without vision, we perish. So the whole world, the whole universe would perish without vision. So, how does that apply to us? Well, if you don't have anything to look forward to, then in a way, you're sending a message to your spirit, to your soul, and your spirit and soul keep you alive. But when you're sending a message to your spirit and soul, and you say or you think, I have nothing to look forward to, I have no vision, then you're sending a death signal to your spirit and to your soul because they believe you, they trust you. Whatever you say, whatever your word is, whatever your thought is recorded in your soul. Your thoughts are recorded in your spirit. Your emotions are recorded in your soul. So be careful what you think. Be careful what you say about your future. So for me, what is a life without vision? It may sound very harsh, but for me, it's death. It's a slow dying process. Okay, you're laughing, Oscar. What do you think? What is a life without vision?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm laughing because of course, it is tragic, but I'm also laughing because it's such a short shift. It's such an extraordinary short shift from going from that, that dullness of having nothing there, but the moment that you're in that, you cannot see a future. That's the problem, right? That's the idea. The moment that you say my life is meaningless, or nothing is happening in my life, or there's simply no joy for me out there, whatever that thought is, the moment your spirit responds and it puts a ceiling, almost like you become in a box, right? And your vision becomes blurry, right? It's almost like the lighting in the room dampens and your vision shrinks, right? And you feel small because essentially you create that smallness inside of you. That's the whole idea, right? So that's the actual physical proof of you without vision, because everything happens in the now. So without the vision in the now, your world shrinks and you sense it. You can sense how that impacts your soul. So the moment you recognize that, The moment you recognize that your world is shrinking, you know that the world is shrinking because you have literally caused it to do so by the thoughts you're having in the now. And you have the power to change it. And that's the interesting thing about life, you see, because the life becomes the meaning you give it. So when you utterly holds the highest vision of your life, your world, your vision will widen. You will see perspectives. You will see such a glory in this world because simply you're causing yourself to see it. So you become the creator of your own glorious reality because essentially expanding your view through the thoughts that you're having in the now. And you can feel it. You can feel that vibrate through your entire being. And then it's up to you to continuously remind yourself of this truth. And you will sense that every fiber of your being will vibrate with that truth in all areas of your life. But you need to do somewhat of the work, right? The work is that you need to define what it is that truly makes your spirit soar. And understand that and hold that and remind yourself of it. And the way you do that, yeah, you find different methods of doing that, obviously. Some people read the Bible, and as they read that word, that helps them. Other people's come up with their own affirmations, and so forth and so forth. But we're going to expand into that. But yeah, that's my thought on what we were saying.
Brilliant. Thank you. Very well put. In other words, we can be right about life, or we can have vision and expansion. Because our subconscious mind says yes to every thought, every feeling. So you could be right and you could be depressed and have a very limited life, or you could have an unlimited life and vision. So that's your choice. So question number 2. Why is having a compelling vision so important for us all right now? Well, obviously the viewers view YouTube, and there's a lot of, what shall I say, warnings about the times we're moving into. And enlightened masters are saying we are going to go through some tough times, about 3.5 years of tough times. One master would say, get water, get food, get shelter. You may not be able to buy things. You may not be able to sell things. Imagine what your life would be like. So this is one master called it, this is a ditch that we're being helped over, and we're moving into enlightened times, but we're going to have to go over the ditch first. So why is vision important? Every single one of us, how many are we now? 7 billion people? Something like that.
8.025 according to Google.
Oh, thank you. 8.7, did you say?
8.025.
025. Okay, so
Yeah.
8 billion people of us, including the young ones. Young people are very, very good at creating vision, as long as their parents don't stop them or anybody negative around them. You know, if they want a bike, they'll get a bike, whether they've got the money or not. So we need to be like little children and create, oh, what would I love in 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, especially now. My sister believes in que sera, which means whatever will be, will be. Okay, I don't believe in predestination, honestly. You either believe in free will or predestination. For me, if you believe in predestination, you don't have to do anything. because it's going to be like that anyway. We are all very, very powerful beings as long as we are aligned with the divine. Well, there are powerful beings that are aligned with evil, and they are powerful for a time, because it's all, if you're not aligned with the divine, it's not eternal. Rome, there was the fall of Rome, there was the fall of mankind, right? So if you align yourself with the divine, you become eternal. If you align yourself with evil, for a time, you may seem very, very successful, but it's not going to work. So it's up to us, all 8.025 billion of us, to have a vision of our lives and our communal lives, our world vision. Where do you want to go in 1 year, 3 year, 5 years' time? But where do you want the world to go? It's more important than ever that you create that vision now. So, Oscar, what do you say? Why is having a vision, a compelling vision, so important for us all right now?
Well, first, as I spoke about before, is the idea of your vision, right? It's your vision for your life, because the moment that your thoughts align with the divine and you feel how that utterly fulfills you, it's like they call in the Bible, they call it, you drink from the Lord's, spring, right? There's an infinite spring of youth, of well-being, of wealth, of all of that you drink from when you get the right words. Now, the idea is this, that it's about your words, right? Even if it says in the Bible, you read it, but it doesn't mean anything for you, then it does not mean anything for you, and that it has no impact, none whatsoever. So you have to formulate what it is truly that makes your spirit soar, right? And then as that happens, then you feel empowered to go forth in life and create plans for that, right? You will sense, you will get inner visions of what it is that you like. Now then, the idea here is that, as you see, it's not only about you, because before it might have been like you oh, I have to fix my things in my life, but now it's the entire world, right? We are all, as humanity, going through a transitional period where it is to us to decide what are the global thoughts that we want to hold for the vision of the world we desire to live in, for all. For all. None is to be excluded, right? So that's the idea here. So now it's not just about you. It's about you holding to the vision of the world that you truly desire to see. And that will compel you to create in accordance to what that divine vision is. And so as you do that, you will essentially create the kingdom of heaven on earth, because you bring what is in your mind, the inspirations from the divine, into your life and everybody else's life too.
Thank you, Oscar. So our third question is, how do we create a compelling 5-year vision? And first, I want to distinguish between a goal and a vision. A vision is like a dream. It's like a picture that you can feel it, you can taste it, you can visualize it. But it's not necessarily concrete. A goal is real. It has to be within a certain framework of time. What you want specifically, and what you desire. Forget the word want, because you can say, I want, and your subconscious mind will say, yes, you want it. And you won't Get it. So beware of the word want. Use desire instead. I know it's a little bit old-fashioned, but it works better. So your vision is something, is a picture, is a feeling that you desire. Something, a situation where you feel fulfilled, you feel that you are of service to not only your family, but to others, to maybe to the whole world, and that you're making a change, you're making a difference. That could be a vision, but make it specific, like a movie, like a movie. And what is a goal? Then you divide, the goals into a 1 year goal, a 3 year goal, a 5 year goal. What specifically can you achieve in 1 year? What specifically can you achieve in 3 years and 5 years? My clients we all tend to overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5 years. So you can start with 5 years. What do you want to achieve in 5 years? What is your vision in 5 years? What are your goals in 5 years? And then you can work back. Or you can say, in 1 year, I will do this. But don't overestimate. Just say, this is real. In 1 year, given who I am and what I'm about and my capabilities, I can do this. In 3 years, I can do even more. In 5 years, I can do even more. And with my team, we are limitless. Okay, so that's how you create your vision. But first of all, you need to know, number one, who you are, what's your true identity, what's your compelling, your driving purpose. It's important to know. And number three, very important, your inner saboteur strategy, reinvent it. Then you can create your vision. So, Oscar, what do you say? How do we create a compelling 5 year vision?
Wow. Well, first of all, what you said there about the inner saboteur and all of this, this whole thing builds upon this idea of not necessarily 100% a clean slate, because every one of us have things that we work on, but the idea that you feel drawn to this feeling that is inside of you, to these thoughts that utterly gives your life meaning, right? You start sensing that. And then you might start mapping out that, well, what does that mean for my health? What does that mean for my wealth? What does that mean for my love? And what does that mean for my self-expression, right? This is like those 4 areas, at least for me. Now, that's what I defined, right? But what I then did now is that I'm just living with that, and I'm asking myself, well, what is, for me, that's really important for me, right? What is God's divine plan for me? What is the truth, actually, that God has in those areas for me? And then I let that fuel me. So I'm still in that area of I'm fueling that because I want to stay true to the divinity within me, because I feel so, so aligned to that. And through that, I know that that 5 year vision would pop into my mind. And also, I already know that I hold the highest idea for humanity, but I don't know how that is in a 5 year plan yet. I don't know, but I feel so thriving in the now of just being with the truth of what is divine's, what is the divine's idea for my life. And I simply stay there and I enjoy it and I drink from it every day. And from there, I get inspired. I get inspired to speak. I get inspired to do things, because essentially I'm not dependent upon outside recognition because I am divinely inspired, right? And then, so that's where I want to create from, because then I'm simply putting forth what I sense is the spirit out into the world. So, and that comes from me. But then obviously, then you can go into this part that when that vision really clears, then you go into and exactly say, like Katarina, it's like, well, what does that mean in 5 years, right? How does the world look? You know, I have a tendency to, like, well, in 5 years we're in Shangri-La. You know, it's just gold everywhere and everyone is completely enlightened, right? That's like what is mine, right? But it's important to be specific too, and make it about you, and from there, how you then, what are your relationship to the world in that way, and then do it for certain life areas. For me, those 4 life areas covers so much. And the beauty when you cover that is also that you feel like, oh, now I'm not missing anything, right? I can feel that sometimes, that, oh, if you go on wealth but you focus too much on wealth, then you'll forget your health. And if you forget your health, then after that you forget your love, and then you forget your self-expression, right? And then the ego goes in and is like, oh, you lost that part, so I'm just gonna pester you about that in your thoughts. Right? So it's about a somewhat of completion, where you remind yourself, because in the beginning we need to remind ourselves of the truth, because we are so programmed by how the world thinks that we are supposed to look at our life. But the moment that you apply the world's thoughts to divine vision, you get dulled, because the world is, let's say, the world is in essence not God, right? It is too much construed. There's too much confusion in how the world thinks. So anytime that you think that's why you can't really find an affirmation that someone else has that 100% works for you. Maybe it will, but it is for you to feel it, right? It is utterly personal. That's the whole thing about this. It's so personal, right? There is not a way of escaping or finding shortcuts, because it's about you in the now, feeling abundant in the now, and then loving the way that you maybe created this 5-year, 2-year, and 1-year plan. That's my idea of this. What would you add, Katarina?
Yes, as I said, create 1-year, 3-year, 5-year goals and your 5-year vision. What do you desire in 5 years? Okay, are we ready for contacts, or have you?
Yeah, no. I feel fulfilled.
Okay, good. So how do we contact you, Oscar?
You reach me through my website, realitydecoding.com, or my Facebook group, Live Your Purpose. And I also have a YouTube channel called Oscar Nygren. And you, Katarina, how do people reach you?
The simplest way is on LinkedIn. I'm Catherine Carlsson, but you can also type in Katarina Hanssens Carlsson and you will get to Catherine Carlsson. So leave me a message. And if you need help with your vision, I am an expert. I've been doing this for 20 years successfully. Not only my own vision, but my client's vision. And you can reach me on my calendar. So book a 15-minute call with me. It's for free. And next week, we have a video called The Rose, which is a story that Oscar has actually experienced. And we're not going to tell you anymore. You're going to watch it next week. So we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching today. and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.